Hey everyone, welcome back. Another thrilling rendition of Core Web Vitals with Nils and Courtney. Super excited to be back talking again about Core Web Vitals, but this is when it gets interesting, right? Because it's been rolled out. So now we can actually talk about the fallout. We can talk about the successes. We have a very special guest with us today that you will meet in just a few minutes. But while we're waiting for everybody to kind of roll in, why don't you let us know in the comments where you're watching from? And definitely like our channel, subscribe to our videos, like the video, all of that good stuff so that maybe I can get a raise. Or maybe you will get all of this really cool content. Whenever we go live, you'll get some alerts. You'll never be in the dark if we have anything to say or anything that we want to broadcast to you. So really beneficial for me and for you. So let us know where you're watching from. I know we probably have a few of our regular viewers here today. And we've got Nils with us as always, which is very exciting. All right, we've got some people tuned in already. Good. Hello, hello. So today what we're going to be talking about, because I know we've already really talked your ears off about Core Web Vitals for a while, we're going to actually be talking about how to measure and track this data. That's going to be in the beginning. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to bring a special guest on who's actually had a ton of success fixing his clients' websites with these Core Web Vitals metrics. So we're going to get to see some real world examples of how this can actually tangibly help your rankings and successes. Hello from SoCal. Hey, SoCal. Nice to see you. I think you're having better weather than us in Belgium right now. If you've seen the news, it's pretty wet here at the moment. Hi, Rodrigo. All right, we've got a good audience watching already, so why don't we go ahead and get started. So as always with these webinars, we're gonna go ahead and do a recap of Core Web Vitals. For those of you who are just joining the series, it's not the least technical thing that we've ever talked about, so we'd like to give some context before we jump into the measuring and the data. So Nils, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it away and tell everyone about Core Web Vitals.
Yes, because Google announced they're rolling it out. So basically, we're already seeing some impact of Core Web Vitals, hopefully positive impact. But I assume, where some people win, others will lose. So it's definitely at the moment one of the things to keep track of. Your Core Web Vitals, your page experience, making sure that your visitors, your users experience your website in the best possible way. That's what Core Web Vitals is all about. I'll repeat it again. Page experience update, that's what they call it. So Core Web Vitals is one piece of page experience. So when you see Google talking about it, well, obviously they also talk about Core Web Vitals, but when they talk about algorithm changes, algorithm updates, they'll more often mention page experience updates, just to clear that out and get the lingo right. So yeah, it's happening. That's basically what's going on right now. And of course, when it's happening, you want to see what's happening. You want to be able to measure stuff, monitor stuff on your website, improve things if necessary. And so that's why we published an article recently about measuring, about all of the data. So the easiest way to get there, I would say, is just Google WooRank Core Web Vitals, and then normally the first link is our Core Web Vitals hub. So this is a nice summarized view of all the content we have and push out when it comes to Core Web Vitals. So some articles, very in-depth articles on the 3 Core Web Vitals and the measuring, which I'll get into, and then a bunch of my face over here, but basically the webinars and some videos about Core Web Vitals from the past. So definitely check those out, of course.
Yes. I've just shared the links in the comments for everyone if you just want a shortcut. I've shared both our hub and the article that we're going to be speaking about today are both in the comments if you wanted to check that out on your own time, because now it's our time.
Yep.
Go ahead, Nils.
So yeah, most of these articles have already been published in the recent months, but the last one over here, measuring and tracking, is fairly new, very recently published, and it's all about tracking, monitoring, looking at your data. So yeah, obviously I won't go in too much detail and spoil a bunch of stuff. It's obviously way more fun to read it yourself. But yeah, as a very quick recap, and I've done a number of these recaps, and I'll always make them shorter, just not to sound like a broken record. Core Web Vitals, so Google tracks, or at least Google Chrome tracks a bunch of metrics when you, as a user, go to any website. Those are called Web Vitals. There's 7 in total, and then 3 of those Google sort of picked out as the most important ones, the Core Web Vitals, that make or that define your user experience and your page experience in the best possible way. That's largest contentful paint, so the biggest item on your screen or on your website that loads when a visitor loads your website page. The biggest item in there, generally a big image or a video or something, that has quite a lot of weight to it. That will be your largest contentful paint element. By the way, check out our WooRank reviews. We'll tell you what your largest contentful paint element is. And so they track how long it takes for that item to load. The longer, the worse, of course. So making sure that thing loads fast is super important. Very anecdotally, but I'm maintaining a website where they had a huge image that in the end wasn't very helpful anyway, but at the very top of the page was kind of an event poster that became like an event poster that was put up there by someone. That became the largest contentful paint item. Was a very poorly optimized image, so our score for that website went way down, or the Core Web Vital metrics went way down. And given it wasn't that important, that event, I moved the image way down to the page, which made it not be the largest contentful paint element anytime. And so that improved the page experience again, because now the first view someone had on the web page was much quicker, didn't have to load that image. So very anecdotal, but this is the kind of things you should be looking out for. First, input delay is all about clicking. So when a visitor starts clicking on your website, how long is the page blocked? Like at what point in time does your click start making an action? So you get that sometimes. You go on a website, you click somewhere already, but some things haven't loaded yet. So probably some JavaScript, and the page is sort of blocked. So whatever you click on, it doesn't really do anything. So the first moment that your click gets registered and takes an actual action, that's first input delay. So also a time metric based on time. And then cumulative layout shift is the third one. This is all about how elements on your page move. So if you suddenly pop in a huge banner that pushes all the text down, that's shifting a bunch of elements, visual elements, like something that the user is reading at the time, pushes it down, bad user experience. So cumulative layout shift, not expressed in time. It's just a measure of how far are new elements popping in and pushing the rest down. So the distance they push things down, the larger you start pushing things around, the harder it is for a user to read your web page, and that's why it's a third very important core web vital. How am I doing on time? Because I said I was going to do it quick, but I imagine
you're doing phenomenally.
Yep.
We're at less than 10 minutes, so.
Yeah. Okay. I now also notice I wasn't really sharing my screen. Not a big deal, but I'll do that now. And there we go. And if you can, yep, there we go. Wonderful. So Yep. Sorry. Those were the three core web vitals. So they give you, throw them all on a pile, basically, or that's at least what Google is doing. And out of that, they extract a page experience score. So least contentful paint, first input delay, and CLS. And then, tie that together with mobile friendliness, safe browsing, and a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, hundreds, if not thousands, of other metrics that Google is tracking about a web page. And that creates a page experience score that they then introduce into the Google SERP algorithm. So where to position a website for any given search keyword. All a bunch of numbers and black box stuff, but at least we know page experience takes a big chunk out of that. So a quick thing on field and lab data, also very often mentioned when we're talking about core web vitals and how to track that. There's essentially two groups of tools. A group of tools that acquire field data and a group of tools that acquire lab data. What's the difference? Well, field data is the kind of data that is measured in terms of what your users are experiencing. So literally, your users in the field, what are they experiencing? Pulling in all of that data. That's field data. Lab data, on the other hand, is collecting data about a web page in a more controlled lab environment. So typically used, I would say, by someone working on a website. Could be a developer or someone maintaining a WordPress website, for instance, writing new content or installing new plugins or making any change to a website. Essentially, you can run some tools, and I'll go into these in a sec. You can run lab data tools that will acquire data in a very deterministic way. You make your changes, you check it again. If the score goes up, you did a good thing. If the score goes down, you did a bad thing. So they're not necessarily representative of what users will experience on your website, because there's a bunch of external factors that play into that. Your users' bandwidth, like their internet connection, maybe extensions that they have installed. So it's nothing to do with what users experience, but essentially it's a score. Compare it to the WooRank score. You start from a given baseline. So you run the lab data experiment, you get a baseline score, you make some improvements, check it again, score goes up, good job. Score goes down, bad job, probably roll that change back. That's what lab data tools are all about. So to help you out, Google themselves already push some tools. So there's their their most common lab tool is Google's Lighthouse tool, which is part of Google Chrome itself. So you can just open it in your browser in the developer tab. They also have a couple of websites that give you essentially the same thing. So you don't have to open any developer tab in Chrome, but just go to a couple of websites. They're all listed in this article, by the way. So not gonna spoil any links here. You'll find them way down in the article. But anyway, so Lighthouse is their main tool to check core web vitals from a lab data point of view. So running it on a page, getting all the data out, making some improvements, running it again, seeing if things have improved. One important side note, indeed, is that the three core web vitals, one of the three, you won't be able to track through lab data, and that's the first input delay. Reason being, like I said, first input delay is all about when a page becomes interactive. So when someone clicks, does something happen? Those kind of things are generally very hard to simulate in a lab environment in a very consistent way. So that's why that metric is not part of Google, or you won't find it in Google Lighthouse. But generally, like a proxy metric that can help you make that metric better. So the first input delay better is total blocking time. So that's way more deterministic. That's easier to check in a lab tool. So if you look at the total blocking time, make sure that's very performant. yeah, by extension, the first input delay will also be better. Google Field Tools, so checking data in the wild, in the field, is mostly the Chrome UX report. So this is basically data they pull in from all the Chrome browsers across the world, essentially. And if you as a user have opted in for that feature, there's a way to opt in and opt out of that. They acquire all of that data and then make it available in one big tool. The side note on that is that they update that data set every month or so. But what we've seen is that there's a couple million websites in the data set, which isn't bad. But if your site is a little smaller, it might be that you don't have any data for your website in their data set. So you're basically in the blind about your website. But don't worry, we have a solution for that. But anyway, so that's the Chrome UX report. Check it out. Check your website. If it won't give you any data, that's perfectly normal. Like, it's only a couple million websites, only the bigger ones, I would say. There's no real explanation on what they consider a website or how they consider a website to be in that set or not. But that's the reality of things. Some websites are just not in that data set. So check it out. Maybe your website is in there, and then month over month, you'll get some information and some data about that. It's only month over month, another problem. So if you make a change today and want to check it tomorrow, no cigar, you'll have to wait another month to get the latest data. But anyway, so that's Google. It's there. It's a good tool. But kind of glancing over a couple of things. Core Web Vital tools in general. There's a bunch that Google offers, and there's a nice little tool called WooRank that basically brings everything together: field data, lab data, for small websites, for big websites, day over day. It doesn't matter. Like, we'll pull out the data for you and we'll visualize it in real time. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to worry that you have a small website. We have it all. So definitely check that out. So there's two ways of doing that in our reviews. So that's our version of lab data tool, our reviews. So you run a review on your website. There's a bunch of criteria that are about performance and page experience. So they give you a very deterministic view on how those core web vitals are on your website. We also explained that in a previous webinar. And then also, and not going to go into too much detail here, what Google considers good values and bad values. Just read the article, of course. But then if you want to track the field data, so your users on your website, we have an even better tool called our on-page assistant. So that's something you install on your website that brings you all the beauty of WooRank straight to your website. So you can just browse your website, log into WooRank, and never have to go to WooRank, just stay on your website and get all the data. But at the same time, this assistant also acts as a core web vital entry point. So we capture all the data, the core web vital data for your users. So super anonymized, no worries about that. It's just some numbers. And then you'll be able to see that data in a generalized view, summarized view. So we show you what's good, what's bad, what needs improvement straight into the assistant. And again, if your website just attracts one visitor a day, we'll capture that data and show it to you. And it's real time. So you don't have to wait another day or another month. Like, when a visitor comes, we'll show it to you. And that concludes my
I'm
15
actually,
minutes.
Yeah, perfect. 19, but whatever. I'm actually going to show the WooRank assistant in real time for anybody that has not gotten a chance to see this yet. So screen 2. No, hold on. I actually want to do one tab. There we go. Okay, so have it already pulled up. This is the WooRank assistant in the wild. And as Nils said, like, not to brag, but we are more powerful than Google when it comes to this. Like, we don't need to wait for a ton of traffic. Like, we can see the core web vitals even if one person has visited your page. So really, I mean, this is very, very beneficial for if you're working on your own website, or if you're like our upcoming guest, you work on other people's websites. You'll be able to see this at a page level. We look on the page level, every page of your site. We can see these 3 key metrics that Nils talked about. We have a summary up top for you. We have the page views that are used to calculate these results. And then we have your actual results for the 3 key metrics. We not only have the summary, we also have the 75th percentile and a new graph that we're testing right now with the distribution graph. I don't know if Nils, you wanted to explain a little bit about that, but this is all data that is available to you on every single page with the Core Web Vitals. And all you need is a WooRank account, which is super easy to do. Just go to WooRank.com. You can sign up for a 14-day free trial. If you already have a WooRank account, just log in the project space. So go to your project. There's a lot of cues for you. We've got a little pop-up. We've got a full section dedicated to the assistant. It's very, very simple to install. Essentially, if you've installed Google Analytics, like it's that easy to get this onto your site. So don't be intimidated by the technicalities of it. It's very, very simple. I mean, even I can do it, and I'm not super technical. So
yeah, and I actually wasn't aware of this. So this is a website indeed I generally maintain a little bit. And when you scroll down, something I just noticed, because it's been a couple of days since I worked on that website, the cumulative, so the CLS score has gone up. Still green, so we're still good, but this is not something you want to see. So I definitely need to go and check out what's going on over there. But yeah, maybe someone put a huge image again at the top or something like that. But anyway, so that's something I need to check out because it's going up.
I saw a pop-up for like a summer camp happening.
Yeah,
so that's probably
that's possible. So these are the kind of things, that you need to be aware of. Like if you work with multiple people, or even if you're solo, but if you work with people on a website, people make changes to the website, obviously with best intentions. But a small change, can have an impact, and people are not necessarily aware of that. So it's these type of tools that will immediately show you, like, on July the 12th, something happened. Oh yeah, indeed, I launched a new campaign or whatever, put something on the homepage at the very top. This had an impact? So good to see, and I'll dive into that problem right after the webinar.
Right, and exactly, like you can see this in real time. And even if, just as another note on the assistant, even if Core Web Vitals seems like, whoa, like this is too technical for me, I'm not sure if I want to tackle this yet, the wealth of information you get other places in the assistant, like you get page level traffic information, where people are coming from, what pages they bounce to after they are on your page. You get a full WooRank report of every page. So you can see internal page scores. You get every single metric that you would see within the WooRank tool. You get an immediate list of things that need to be improved, errors that are on this specific page that need to be fixed. And you can see in real time, like if you go into your CMS and you fix them and you want to know immediately, did my meta description actually get fixed? You can refresh the review right there from within the assistant. So it's a really, really helpful tool. You basically don't even need to dip into the WooRank tool unless you're, tracking keywords and that sort of stuff. But all of the on-page metrics, all of that can live right in the assistant, and it's super easy, super helpful. Just so much information, and it's with every level of our subscription. So it's not like you have to upgrade to get this. It's available for anybody that signs up to WooRank. And so let's go ahead and switch gears. I'm going to stop sharing, and we are going to, speaking of anecdotal evidence, we are going to talk to the best anecdotal evidence I have heard about Core Web Vitals. We're going to bring on Dave Pehrson, who is the CEO and President of Creative Jolt, a very cool lead agency in Nebraska in the US of A. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Courtney. Hi, Niels.
How are you?
Thank you very much for having me on. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing very, very well. Nils, I don't know if you want to stay on in the camera or if you want me and David to chat, but I'm sure it'd be good to have you.
Sure.
Cool.
I'll give the sign.
Okay. Maybe I'll just kick you out. Okay, so David, why don't you tell us a little bit about your agency and just give people some background info on the type of agency you run and the type of clients that you service?
Sure thing. If you don't mind, before I jump into the agency part right here, I just want to say if you guys are not using WooRank, there's something wrong with you guys. But obviously, if you're listening to this video, you're either exploring it or you are actually currently using it. I've been using WooRank for years, and even at the time when you can cheat, I'm not going into the details on the cheating here. Sorry, you guys. I am a paid subscriber now, but it really simplifies the information. I appreciate the tool that you guys have brought about to make possible. It allows me to be able to simplify verbiage and language to my clients. It paints an excellent roadmap, and really the details that you guys provide for websites is really vital. Even if you're not the best SEO expert in this, it will get you in a good place if you're to use WooRank. So I just wanted to go ahead and throw that shout out there for you.
I didn't even pay him to say that. He pays us. I didn't even pay him.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for that. That's super nice.
You're welcome there. Maybe we need to work something out with that one there. I feel like I'm also coming to like evangelical or Southern Baptist church to share my testimony here. It's like, amen, brothers and sisters. This is all good. But to a little bit about me and my company there. So as Courtney mentioned, I'm Dave Pehrson, the president and CEO of Creative Jolt. I'm the co-founder of the company. We're based out of Omaha, Nebraska in the United States. And I have been doing web development, web design, and SEO for 24 years now. And my company, Creative Jolt, I started back in August 2015 while I was living in North Carolina. From there, I had partnered up with a bathroom manufacturing company, which gave me an opportunity to really grow and expand across the country as they had manufactured bathtubs and showers to sell to their, or to share, who should I say, bathroom modelers there. They supplied bathroom modeling products to them there. So I developed a lead generation program for this company, shared it with our clients. Those clients eventually became my clients as I broke off there and been able to expand the program. And the work that I've been doing for them, I will just say, has been pretty good. We've had our ups and downs with it. We've seen some good lead turnover with these guys. And one of the things, well, before I jump into details on that one there, because Courtney, I'm going to let you ask me the questions right there, but a little bit more about my business. We do focus on funnel web design. So we focus on getting a customer from point A to point Z, making sure that they can turn into a lead for my clientels. The second one, we focus on technical SEO, which WooRank plays a vital role in that, in using your tool. And then we also optimize website, of course, with Core Web Vitals. It took us to the extreme on that, on optimization. And then we do pay-per-click advertising for our clients to help bring in more customers with that.
Amazing. Well, I think that anybody who needs a lead agency, get in touch with Dave at creativejolt.com. So if you could just explain to me a little bit, because you and I spoke about this yesterday, and obviously Nils and I have spoken a lot about this. Google was not quiet about this Core Web Vitals update, right? Like usually
no,
they're like
in
the dark of night under a cloak, they're like, oh, algorithm update, bye. But this time they were like really like, Core Web Vitals. So why don't you explain to us a little bit about how you first found out about it and what you decided to do for your clients?
Oh gosh, we found out about this. I started receiving emails, and it wasn't just one email, but it was several emails over the months of last year. I believe it was mid to late spring of last year when we started receiving emails from Google saying, we got Core Web Vitals in the works. And each one of these emails explained a little bit more details as to what was going to go on there. They were trying to give us the heads up saying, if you don't make these changes, you will be impacted. So listen up. And part of the rules in my company is that we really live by, if Google says it, do it. If you want to test things as to what Google does, fine. But if Google says this is what's going to make a website rank, you need to really take that step forward and follow what they instruct us to do. So yeah, month after month, they had the flags up. No, anyone who is a Google partner and anyone who is familiar with Google Search Console has known about this. No doubt about that. What
Yeah,
else?
for sure. And if you subscribe to WooRank, I mean, we've been clogging your inboxes every week, basically since December, telling you like Core Web Vitals is coming. So yeah, if you're paying attention, you definitely know about it. So what did you then decide to do once you realized how important this was going to be?
Gosh, I was putting it off because my clients keep me busy enough. But I knew if I didn't make a dramatic change in my company to satisfy Core Web Vitals, I knew my customers were going to see the results were not going to be panning out like they should. And finally, I decided to take a look at what some problems were and how we can solve them. One of the problems that I've noticed, sorry for shouting out GoDaddy on this, but I'm going to throw these guys under the bus. I've been using these guys for years, and I've paid thousands of dollars for their hosting environment, especially to put us on AWS servers with Amazon. And I hate to say this, hopefully they pick things back on up right there, but their quality on maintaining the hosting environments was degrading. And I noticed the speed of the sites was not panning out like they should, and instead of taking us 5 minutes to do like a quick update project, it was taking us 30 minutes. So I looked at the hosting environment first, started shopping around, and I decided to go straight Google servers. And the technology that Google has available on their hosting environment really made a huge difference. But when I saw the technology, I knew that not only do we have to design things according to Core Web Vitals, but we need to design things to take the full benefit of what Google was offering on their servers. And so what I decided to do for my clients is to redesign every website that I had for them. And it was a huge undertaking. When I first did this, like, okay, this should be simple enough. I thought that was, if I started it in November, then I should be able to finish it by the first day of spring. The more I played around with Google servers, that was it didn't go out. It didn't go very well. It was actually very difficult. We were testing things consistently. It was not an easy transition. I run my client sites off of WordPress for CMS, and I know in the web development community, WordPress can either be a positive influence in the web community or can be a negative influence in the web community. If you know web development, then you know WordPress just acts as a content management system. If you really want to get down to the nit and grits, you got to code yourself. So this project, instead of ending up in the first day of spring, it took us all the way to June. And I did not pass the costs of this onto my clients. We took on the cost. It was a great expense for us. It was a great risk for us. But the feedback that I got from my customer base is phenomenal. They've noticed a difference in phone calls. They noticed a difference with the website. They love the design that we gave them, but they love what they are getting as far as customer turnover turns out. And it was a great shock to us.
Yeah, I think now we're getting into the part that everybody is really eager to hear. Like, let's hear some numbers here. Let's hear what sort of successes did you actually see with these clients?
Absolutely. Here, I'm going to share my screen here real quick. I just want to show you guys a little background from me there. My little setup right here. I'm hiding some important detail information because my clients' information is definitely important to me, so I'm not showing you who they are, but these are dashboards that I provide for my clients. This links up Google Search Console, this links up Google Analytics, this links up Google AdWords, and Google My Business. We are showing real-time results to my clients in this aspect. So when I'm sharing these numbers with you, these numbers are as of today. So take for an example, to my shock and amazement, even though Core Web Vitals didn't really go into full effect immediately, or immediately when they were announcing these things, just by lining things up at the beginning of the year for clients, we started seeing immediate improvements, even up to today still. And real quick, these sites that we're launching, some of these sites would take 1 to 2 weeks to rebuild. And then at other times, some of these sites would take 1 month to build. So it was a huge undertaking for us. One client out in New Jersey, who's a bathroom remodeling client, he does not run pay-per-click campaigns through us, but he just uses us for the website and paid search. And when it comes to bathroom remodeling, you need to do paid search if you really want to compete. Well, he wasn't really getting much leads off the website. Now, he would get some here and there on a monthly basis, but as soon as we were Core Web Vitals focus on the rebuild, we saw an 80% increase from organic traffic to form fill conversion. Now, just to explain a little bit here, the traffic seemed a little about the same. And as I'm going through these clients right here, when we first launched them on the new sites with Core Web Vital Focus, we did see a massive drop in traffic right at the very beginning. But within a matter of a few days, we saw that traffic pick back up. And then within 2 to 3 weeks, we saw dramatic results as far as lead generation went. It's like that traffic just suddenly turned a whole 180. We saw a different group of people coming into these websites, and they were filling out the forms. They were making phone calls to them. So our New Jersey client for bathroom modeling saw an 80% increase for website form fills, which is phenomenal. We have a client in Omaha, Nebraska, who does fine dining, and he only takes reservations. We saw a 44% increase in first-time callers calling directly to his restaurant. Now, since it's a restaurant, we can't speak of people who do walk-on, and he still gets walk-ins. But we can account for people who do fill out the forms and make the phone calls to the sites. We have another client out in Charlotte, North Carolina, here in the States, who builds pergolas. And we run both organic and pay-per-click advertising for him. He saw a 57% increase in phone calls and form fill submissions. And no, I apologize. I jumped ahead. He saw a 32% increase. So that's the pergola builder. One more client. He's in the tri-state area of Indiana. So we're talking about the southern point of Indiana. Bathroom modeling company for organic and pay-per-click advertising on CWS. 57% increase in first-time callers and website form fill submissions. And these guys are benefiting and profiting from that, and something I was happy to deliver to my customers. One more point to make on that. Our Core Web Vital scores are not perfect yet. We still have some scores. We have some scores in the green. We have some scores in the yellow. We have some scores in the red. And I'm talking about both mobile phone and desktop. But we have improved the scores. We have made the dramatic changes. Part of the dramatic turnover on making these dramatic turnover on redeveloping these sites is that we needed them to be flexible. So we wanted to take the first step in Core Web Vital scores, and then that way, once we got everything launched, we can go into a second phase on improving optimization even more to meet up further in Google's expectations. But just with the changes here in the beginning, we saw a dramatic increase for customer acquisition.
Wow, that's really kind of incredible. Not only that you took so much time to rebuild all your client sites, which is like, whew, man, you should definitely ask them to pay you a little more.
And
but the successes that you saw. Go ahead, Nils.
Maybe that's a little in the works, but yeah.
Do you see for all those, do you get data in Google Search Console or the Chrome UX report for all of those websites? Or do you also have websites who Google is not giving you any data for?
Some of those websites we have CWS data for. Some of those websites we do not.
Yeah,
These clients, depending upon the population, still, even though we don't see the data, we do see the change when we're CWS focus on the score improvements there. So whether if you're seeing the score in Google Search Console or not, it doesn't mean it's not working. We saw the results of that of CWS. So yeah.
Nope.
Lost my train of thought on that one there, but yeah.
Well,
No, it
that's
was
really
just curious
cool.
because indeed, yeah, sometimes you get data, sometimes you don't. And yeah, it's hard to find a pattern. Like it's not necessarily visitor related. Obviously, the smaller a website, the less likely it will have data in Google Search Console. But yeah, we've seen smaller websites who do show up and bigger websites who don't show up. So it's, yeah, I just try to get some, again, anecdotal evidence of what's going on, but it's kind of a mystery, I have to say.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I guess
For
it's still
us,
being rolled out. So, oh, go ahead, David.
yeah. For us, traffic doesn't matter. These companies are very local in their area. Traffic does matter, but since they're very local, it's more about who is coming visiting the website and who's filling out the form fills. They worry about more who is converting into being a customer than they are who's coming to the website. You can have people come to the website and do nothing. And just to let you know a little additional statistics, since we've launched these new websites, Core Web Vitals does focus on speed and user experience. We have noticed that customers are turning over and filling out these form fills or phone calls between 30 seconds to a minute 45 seconds. The majority of these people are hanging around 30 seconds and 45 seconds. So these are quick shoppers I'm working with. And so fast websites is vital and quick information is vital.
Yep. Yeah. That is very good. Yeah, very good experiments and evidence that it's work. Like there's a reason Google makes it work, because it's working for your users. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very cool. So I just have one last question for you. I know that you touched on it a little bit before, but maybe if you could just let everyone who's watching know kind of how you've integrated WooRank into your workflow with your clients and with Core Web Vitals.
Sure thing. One of the things that we do in obtaining a new client, we do offer free. We offer free consultations. Part of that free consultation is that we deliver them a report. Part of that report is comes from WooRank, and so it helps spell to paint the picture, paint the map as to how people are using headers appropriately, how people are using links appropriately. Are people integrating schema appropriately if they do have schema? And if they are using schema, are just relying on plugins alone, or are they actually coding it in there? Because plugins miss a lot when it comes to that. And WooRank helps paint the picture when it comes to that. So when I integrate into my business, we paint the picture for potential customers and for my current clients right there. And that way they can better understand. They can see past my my Chinese language of technology and help translate things into English.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of our agencies that use WooRank are really quite happy about, that we help the translation process, if that makes sense, kind of make it a little bit more digestible for people who might not be super comfortable with all of the terms. But I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your story. Like, I think if you've been paying attention, David's stories are definitely a reason to get started with Core Web Vitals for sure. But if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and put them into the comments. I think everybody is mostly already asked what they wanted to ask. But if you have any questions, speak now, forever hold your peace. Do you do podcasts, by the way, David? Because you have like such a podcast voice.
I do have a podcast, and it's something that I'm on and off. The subject. I have 3 subjects I focus on with the podcast, so it's not necessarily tied with my company right there, but I do focus on some faith-based elements and also some technological elements there. It's just mainly something that impacts my life, and I try to impact in how people's lives improve. So yeah, so thank you for that compliment right there.
Really cool. Yeah, it's very NPR, the voice. So it doesn't look like anybody has any comments for now. If you have any questions about the assistant, about SEO, about life in general, you can always email me. I'll just put my email address directly in the chat. I'd be happy to give you a one-on-one tour of WooRank, talk to you about how WooRank can help you with your specific things. I know everybody who's watching isn't necessarily an agency, so if you wanted to get a little bit more information about how you yourself as maybe a DIY person can get the most out of WooRank, just please don't hesitate. I love it when people reach out to me after webinars, so don't worry, I will absolutely make time for you. We will have more webinars coming up, don't have exact dates yet, but you know, Nils and I can't stay away from the camera and the spotlight for too long. So we'll be back. Any questions, again, feel free to email me. And David, again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me
All
on.
right.
I had fun.
Great. I'm glad. Okay, well, we're going to say goodbye now. Everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Nils, thank you. David, thank you. Courtney, you're welcome. And we will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.